Hi everyone. So today in this topic we'll cover about the Git. So in this video we'll cover about the Git from the scratch level, means Git workflow, Git terminology, Git commands, and after that we'll go for the hands-on. And if I'm talking about this video, so this video will be helpful for everyone's. It means for freshers, for developers, for DevOps engineers, for data engineers, and cloud engineers. Because right now everyone should know about the Git. So let's start. So what is Git? So I'll give you an example why Git is important first. So let's say you're going to work in a long e-commerce website which will actually take 2 years to develop your e-commerce website. Let's say you are working and in 2 years you will write approximately 1 lakh line of code. So how we will track the changes, means when you have written this line of code, when you have reverted the code. Okay, let's say you want to see the change of 1 years ago, so it is very difficult to see the changes without Git. So using Git, what will happen, you can track your changes, whatever the changes you have did in the file anytime in 2 years, anytime, any date, you can see the changes, whatever the changes you have done, what the file you have written, everything you can see using Git. So Git is basically a distributed version control system for tracking the changes in your source code during software development. So it's a basic simple definition of the Git. So you can see the changes, you can track the changes. Okay, if let's say right now you are working, so today is 9th November and you want to see the changes of 1 years back. So you can see the changes in the files whatever you have did 1 years back using Git. Okay, after that the main thing is like, in using Git, multiple developers can work on the same code and and same project using Git. So it is not like you can only work on the same you can only work on the same project. Multiple developers can work on the same project and you can share your files easily using Git. So this is the simple definition of the Git. And after that, Git terminology. So what is the terminology in the Git? What is the terminology we are using in the Git? So first thing is like repositories, second is branch, and third is commits. So these are three which you should know. So repository means, it is not, repository means actually using repository you will actually storing your project in a repository. So using Git you can store your project in a repo using folder. So you can think repository like a folder where you will push your codes and you will store your code. Okay, so after that, branch. Inside the repo, let's say you have created any repo. I'll tell you how you can create and what about the everything when I go with hands-on. So second terminology is like branch. So using branch, what will happen, it allow you to work on the multiple version in the parallel. So let's say right now multiple developers are the working on the code level. Okay, and you don't want to change on that project, on that project, you want some R&D, you want to do some research. Okay, so what you can do, you can create another branch and you can do a lot of changes, it will not affect the others project, others file. So using branching technique in the Git, you can work on the multiple versions in the parallelly. So when you will create the repository, so automatically a master branch will be created. So master branch is the default branch. Okay, remember this thing, master branch is the default branch in the Git. So commits. So commit is a message, commit set is a message about the changes you have were done. You will get a commit ID. It means when you have done something, okay, let's say you have changed something, you are creating a login page and you did some changes on this. So you, if you want to do this, you need to commit your changes. Okay, so after that when you commit it, you will get a commit ID. So it will give you a set of message that I have changed this. So you will get it from the commit only. So after that, let's discuss about the Git workflow, because guys, this is most important about Git workflow. Okay, so let's understand about the Git workflow. So this is the remote repo. So guys, here you will create the repo in the remote repo. So it can be your GitHub, it can be your GitLab. We'll also discuss about the remote repo. So when you create the repo, it is your responsibility that you will clone the repo. You will copy this repo to your local system, means in your personal laptop, okay, in your desktop where you want it. So you will clone it. So this is called working directory where you are working, means it is your personal laptop, some folder in your personal laptop, okay. So after that there is a staging area, and then there is a git directory repo. So what is the difference between working directory, staging area, and git directory and remote repo? So remote repo where you will create the repo. So a working directory, this is your personal laptop where you will clone the repo, okay, where you pull the changes. After the staging area, it means, let's say you change something right now. Here you clone the project and you are start working on that project. You have created an index.html file, you have created an index.php or index.js file, you have written something. Your responsibility is to add it first. So when you will add the file, it will go to the staging area. Your file will go to the staging area. You can see here, right, finally you have created some files, and you can see here your file is going to the staging area, okay. After that, when you will commit it, after adding, you need to commit it. I'll tell you the commands by which you can commit it. So right now when you commit it, your that same file will go to the git area, git directory. So it, guys, whenever you have changed something, you need to commit it. Commit is compulsory. When you will not commit it, what will happen? If you shut down your laptop, if your laptop is crash, you will not get the file name. So commit is necessary, okay. Don't switch off your laptop, don't shut down your laptop without committing the file whatever you changes, okay. First add, then commit it. So add, if you will add, it will go to the staging area, and when you will commit it, it will go to the git area, git directory. After that, next thing is like, your job was like to, whatever the you changes you did, you need to push it to the remote repo at end of the day. So when you will commit it, you need to push it. So when you will push the changes, it will go to the remote repo. So this is how git workflow. This is how git is working, from working directory to staging area to git directory and remote directory. In the next morning, when you start working, you just pull it, whatever the changes you had did, you just pull it. If you are working alone, no need to pull. If multiple developers are working on the same project, every day in the morning you need to pull it. When you start working, you need to pull it. So in the interview, the most common question is like, what is the difference between git fetch and git pull? You can see here, when you are pulling the from remote to local, all the changes whatever the present in the remote repository, it will come to your working directory. But using fetch, it both remote repo and work directory will be in sync form, but whatever the change in the remote repo, it will not come to the working directory, okay. So this is a difference. Git, simply you can call it git pull, means git pull is equal to git fetch plus git merge, okay. Fetch will sync your remote to your with your working directory, and it will only sync, and pull will sync, and whatever the changes present in the remote directory, it will also come to your working directory. It is not like, guys, you are working alone in this repo. Multiple developers are working on the same repo. That's why you need to pull every day in the morning when you start your working, okay. So I'll take a simple example by which you can easily understand how multiple developers are working in the same repo. So guys, you can see this is the remote repo, and Alice, John and George. So George is from operations team, and John is a developers, and Alice is a also developers. So what will happen first? You will create a remote repo. Your team lead or any people will create a remote repo. So what your first job is just clone it. So every time he is cloning, everyone will clone the repo. So when you clone, a local repo will be created, and Alice started working, and John started working. John started working on the project. So whenever John will change something, he will push it to the remote repo. So let's say George is working in a file called index.js, okay. So but Alice want the same file, index.js. Alice want where George is working. So how this Alice will take index.js file from the John? Okay, without Git, what was happening? John is sending an email. with that attached index.js file. But using Git, what will happen? John will push the index.js file to the remote, and Alice will pull it the same file to your local repo. This is how multiple developers are working in the same remote. So when John wants some Alice file, so it will John will just pull John will first just pull it from the remote repo, and George is from operations team. He need to deploy the code into the servers. So what John will do? John will just pull it, or John will just clone the report which will contain all your source code, and it will clone it into the server side. So using this way, George is deploying the code. Okay, so this is how developers, operations team, testing team, everyone can work on the same remote repo using Git. So Git is very useful tool. And guys, one more thing, Git is just a tool. You need to install it on your local system. So remote repo, Git will not create your repo and anything. Okay, I'll tell you who will create your repo. Everything I'll tell you. So now the next thing I'll discuss about the Git commands. So this is the simple Git commands which you will use in your daily cases, believe it. So first, init. This is the command which will just initialize Git in your local system. So when you perform git init, a .git folder will be created. It means a .git folder. Means you can start working on the Git. At the end, when you will want to push the changes to the remote, you just give the username and password of your GitHub repo. You can clone it. You can push the changes to the remote repo. But second is clone. Let's say you have already you have created the remote repo in the GitHub. So using Git clone, you can clone the code from remote to your local system. So this is a simple command, git clone and the remote URL. Okay, I'll tell you when we'll go with the hands-on. Git clone and the remote URL like https:// like this way you can give it. Status, using Git status, let's say you have changed something and you want to see how many changes I have did, how many changes in the staging area, everything you can see using Git status command. And let's after that add command. Let's say you have changed something and you want to add into the staging area. You want to add it to the staging area. So what command you will perform? Git add and the file name, whatever the file, in which file you have changed, you just mention that file name. If you perform git add dot, what will happen? Let's say you have work on the multiple files, mean 10 files. So it is very difficult. You will every time you will give the git add and first file name, second file name, and start instead of giving 10 file names, you just perform git add dot. When you perform, it will add all the changes. Okay. After that, git commit. I already so commit when you want to the changes in your git repo area. So you just perform git commit and -m and message. You can give any type of message. Let's say you have changed in the login page, you can tell them now, like I have changed in this directory, I have changed this file in this line. You can give any message using git commit -m. After that, git push and the branch name. Let's say you have created so many branches. So which branch you want to keep push this change, you can give it git push and the branch name. So git pull in the morning. If you came in the morning and if you want to pull the changes from the remote to working, you just git pull, perform git pull in the branch name. After that, git fetch and checkout. Using git fetch, I told you, you can sync remote repo to your local repo using git fetch. And git checkout, if you, let's say in your project, let's say you have 10 branches. Okay, right now you are working with your own branch. Okay, right now you are working branch number A and you want to go to branch number B. So you can just check out the branch using git checkout and the branch name. Using this way, you can go from one branch to the another branch. I'll see everything. After that, the most important thing, so Git and GitHub. What is the difference between Git and GitHub? I already told you, Git is just a tool. Git is a tool to manage your source code history. It will keep all your changes. It will track all your changes. Okay, whatever you have changed in the file to the entire life cycle. So it is just a tool. Git is just a version control tool. And after that, you need to install the Git on your local system. You need to install the Git on your local system. It means If you want to work with the Git, you need to install it on your Mac OS, on your Mac or your Windows, anywhere on your Linux system. You need to install. Okay, the installation of Git is very easy. So if you want to install, just type Git install. You will get, you can see a download Git from SCM. When you when you perform this, you can see if you want to download for Mac OS, click here. If you have Windows, click here. If you have Linux, click here. Windows, it will start downloading. So using this way you can download the Git. Okay. So what is GitHub? So GitHub is a hosting service for Git repo. So in the GitHub, it is like hosting provider where we will create the repo, and this repo will be managed by the Git. Means if you want to push something, pull something, you can use Git as a tool. And if you want to work with the GitHub, no need to install anything. It is just a hosting service provided. Okay. So right now we have so many hosting services like GitHub, Bitbucket, GitLab. Okay. So we'll use, in our project we'll use GitHub. So right now it is managed by the Microsoft. Okay. Next thing we'll go with the hands-on, which topic we are going to cover. So in this video we'll create a repo in the GitHub. How you can create the repo, I'll tell you. And how you can clone the repo from remote repo to the local system, I'll tell you. Then how you can add the file, and how you can commit the changes, and how you can push the changes to the remote repo. So we'll cover in this lecture. Okay, so let's go. So guys, this is my GitHub account. So if you are a fresher, just create your own GitHub account. It will take hardly 5 to 10 minutes to create your own GitHub account. So you can start practicing on your own GitHub account. So guys, first we'll create the GitHub repo which we discussed. So here you will get an option of new. So when you click on the new, it will ask your repo name. So give a name as a fresher git fresh. Fresh git repo. So I have given the name as a fresh git repo. My repo name is like fresh git repo. And here you will get two options, public and private. So it means when you select on the public, so anyone can see your repo name. So whatever the content you will store inside this repo, everyone can see, means public can see. If you want to make it private, no one can see your repo name. Whatever the content you have stored inside the repo name, no one can see. You can also pass some description. This is optional. So this is, you can see in a description like this is for learning purpose. Okay. You can add any readme files and create repo. So it will create a repo name with the name of freshgit repo. You can see guys, a repo name has been created with the master branch. So this is my default branch name, which will create as a master branch. So what will happen if you want to create any new branch, you can create from here. Just type the name as a develop. If you want to click develop branch, click the name of the develop branch. So okay. So you can see guys, I have right now two branches. One is master branch and other is develop branch. Okay. So first, if you are just try to learn Git, first you need to install the Git. Whatever the way I have told you, you can install the Git from there. So first, whenever you will create a repo, you need to clone it on your local system. So click copy this URL, and I'll go to my CMD label. So I'll create a file here as a learner Git. A file has been created as a learner learner Git. So clone it. I'm cloning my repo inside this folder. So when you type the clone, it will clone your repo. So you can see here guys, repo has been cloned. So same repo, whatever that we have created in the remote. So this is called remote and this is called your working directory repo. Okay, so cd fresher, you can see only readme.md file is here. So when you click on if you want to see the branch, just type git branch. You can see right now by default when you clone the repo, it will go to their default branch, that is master branch. So we will work on the develop branch. Okay, because master is protected branch, so we'll work on the develop branch. So we need to check out the branch. So how you can check out, just perform git fetch and git checkout and the branch name where you will check out develop branch. So right now switch to the new branch called develop branch. So if you'll see git branch here, you can call, right now we are in develop branch. So guys, our requirement, I'll add 3 files here and I'll push it to the next git repo. So I'll create 3 file here. First is called learner.html, second is learner.php, okay, third is like any file, you can create any file name, it is not only this one, learner.dx. So I'll write anything here. I'll simply write something in the learner. Hello, this is for learning purpose, okay, this is for learning purpose, and save it. So guys, you can see here you have created the 3 files in the develop branch, okay. But our job is to push the local files, whatever the file we have created, to the remote repo. Right now we have only readme.empty file, so I want to push 3 files which we have created. So now if you check the git status, it will tell you that you have created 3 files. So you need to add the files first, as I already told you in here, that when you create the files here, you need to add it into the staging area. So what command you will perform? You will perform git add. Right now I'm going to add 3 files. If you will want to add one file, you need to give that file name, but I want to add each and every file. So perform dot add dot, it will add all the changes which you have did, okay. Now if you'll see the git status here, it will tell you the clear pictures. You can see here it has been added into the staging area. So next command would be commit. You need to commit it. So command would be like git commit -m and the command name. You can pass any message here. I have added the files. You can give 3 files. You can any name message you can give here, so it will reflect into the remote repo. I'll show you, okay. So now if you check git status, you can see you have nothing to commit. You can see from here you have added, it will say you need to add it. After that it is saying you need to commit it. When you commit, now it is saying nothing to commit, you need to just push to remote repo. So when I'll try to push it, so by default what will happen, it will go to the develop branch only, because right now we are in develop branch only, okay. So if you want to push the changes to the master branch, so you need to assign the branch name, okay. So no need to assign any branch name, because we are already in develop branch and I want to push the changes to the develop branch only, okay. So just perform git push command here. So when you perform git push, it will ask your user, so sorry, I have already my username saved, so it will ask your username and password of your github, okay. So guys, I have already given my username password initially. So git push, right now you have pushed the changes to the github. Now if you'll go to your github and you will refresh it, okay, you can see here your all 3 files came into the remote repo with the name of I have added the 3 files. Whatever the message you will give here, it will come, the same message will come here also. When you type perform this, you will also get a commit id. You can see here you will get a commit id. Through this commit id you can go back and you can change back your changes, and you can revert your changes. Like this way git is working, okay. Okay guys, this is all for the git. If you have any question, you can comment, and please don't forget to like this video, and please subscribe my channel. Thank you so much for watching this video.